Hey everyone, my name is Simpsy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Hearts of Iron 4 Road to 56 mod here today on the channel. We're going to be checking out a brand new campaign playing in 1936 as Italy. Without further ado, let's get stuck into the campaign. So, currently under the reign of the Duce, limited conscription, limited exports, partial mobilization as well. So Italy is in an interesting position to kick things off. They're currently at war with the Ethiopian Empire, and the quicker they can wrap this up, the better. The longer it goes, the worse it gets. So far, the Italians seem to be taking small amount of tiles in the south. The army primacy has been complete. So it looks like they're currently looking at their national focus, trying to push through army provisions and support the troops on the grounds of Ethiopia. Depending on, the longer this war goes, the longer and worse negative debuffs they seem to get. Sometimes the Sultanate here can actually join in. Whether or not they secede territory to Italy, they can actually flank around quite easily in Ethiopia. So currently, they do have air supremacy in the top. And they actually are running some naval logistics in the south. Ethiopia is landlocked, so they're not really going to be getting in supplies. Alright, decisions-wise, yes, still trying to conquer Ethiopia in the south. The Second Italian-Ethiopian War. 9,000 Italians have been taken out to 25k Ethiopians, so they're doing okay, but things could be a lot better. They're currently bringing in an intelligence agency, which seems to be operating in Ethiopia. Research-wise, they're going to go down concentrated industry. Interesting compared to dispersed. I personally like going down dispersed. Synthetic oils, which is interesting. Depending on how the British go and sort of where they go, oil could be a problem. Oh, here we go. The French Republic has declared war upon the French state. We'll look at that in a moment, while we're still focusing on kicking things off here in Italy. But the French are having a civil war. We are obviously using the Road to 56 mod, no other sub-mods. And we are using unhistorical focuses. So we're going to have a wacky campaign. And field anti-vehicle kit. Interesting. Alright, trade-wise at the moment, they're currently importing oil from the United Kingdom and rubber from British Malaya. Focus on mobilization. But so far, looks like the People's State of Ethiopia, who has now flipped to communism, is probably going to fall. So it is taking them a little while to push here, but they're doing relatively okay. Alright, now that's been complete. The Spanish Civil War is now kicked off. They're focusing on small arms, convoys and support equipment, a small air force as well. And Romania has had a civil war as well. Okay. They've only got a small number of divisions in process. Only 5 in total. Logistics-wise, Italy is still currently suffering from infantry equipment and motorized. And the war still goes. It's now ballooned to nearly 100k, which is significant. Alright. Oh, they're actually going to undermine him. Okay, so they might be going on a completely different route. They might not be siding with the Axis. Oh, we're still undermining him. You can actually install a new emperor in Ethiopia. So let's quickly go over here and have a look. Okay, so we have the French state in the north, which is fascist under Louis, finding the Democrats in the south. I'm curious to see how the Germans will get involved in this. Still seems to be a large number of Italian forces back in Italy itself. Latvia is currently dealing with its own civil war. And Italy is not in the Axis at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So, having a fascist France might complicate things. They actually might join the Axis early. That's what I love about Hearts of Iron 4, going with unhistorical focuses. You never know what's really going to happen. Don't know what's going on here in Germany. Because quite often they're going to focus on the east if France flips. Seems like... Oh, hang on. So, it looks like this war with Ethiopia has now wrapped up, and Italy is now sending volunteers to Spain. And it looks like they straight up annexed the country as well. And in November-ish 1936, the Italian war in Ethiopia has now ended. And now we're trying to expand our naval facilities. Okay. Yeah, the balance of power is slightly shifting. Oh, they might actually be going democratic, or maybe it's just a huge chunk. Alright, so back here in Spain, wars-wise, what's going on? The French Civil War still rages, and it looks like the French Republic is going to fall. The Romanian Civil War. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to look at, because that's like a weird war that's going on. So what's happening here? We have the Romanian Fascist Legion, which is, what? Democratic, which is interesting. Against the authoritarian regime. Okay. I'm sure the Soviet Union, the Ruskies won't be too happy with a Axis potential ally on their border. So that will complicate things. Not really much is going on here in Poland. So at the moment... Oh, wait, so who did... Oh no, they sent it to good old Franco, who at the moment seems to be winning. Italy are trying to stockpile fuel and expand their naval power capacity, as they are hampered by French and British naval power. Got some Chinese civil wars going on over here. But just looking at some of these major powers, are we getting a little bit of a clue in what way people are going? The Spanish Civil War still rages on. And the Polish Republic is at war with Poland. Crazy. Is Japan going shogunate by any chance? Because sometimes that can happen. But the Chinese Civil War now goes on. So what's happening over here? The authoritarians are at war with the Democrats here. Wow. Got to be careful here, because sometimes that can balloon into a three-way civil war. But so far, politically, Italy is still very much divided, but still under the fascist reign. Oh, but Free France was annexed. Oh, did they lose? No, they won in the end. Oh, wow, okay. So they're not going down a monarchy run. They've brought in Louis, the French state. Oh, wow. So I guess Germany got its wish. I wonder if they're going to attack them now, or maybe they'll just straight up join the Axis. It's been a while since I've seen France actually flip like that. This is really cool. I can't wait to see where this campaign goes as we hit into 1937. With Romania flipping as well. Okay, it looks like the majority of Europe, if it keeps going this way, is probably going to be Axis leaning, if anything. Trade-wise is fine. Lazio and Rome are receiving civilian factories. And it looks like Italy is expanding its recruitment and deployment capacity. We're finally back up with positive artillery logistics and motorized. We're still suffering from infantry equipment deficits, okay? And it looks like Franco might win this one as well. That'd be huge, as German, Spanish, and Italian forces make their way to the coastal city of Valencia. Okay, so what's happened in Poland here now? Okay, it looks like the authoritarian regime there won and threw out the democratic one. So they currently have a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union and Romanians. I wonder if that flips France's guarantee and Britain's guarantee, because they were at one point guaranteeing the independence of Poland. Okay, so it looks like Italy is now stabilized to 92%. War support to 71. And the triumph in Africa is now about to be complete. So it does seem like they're staying with Mr. Mussolini, but they might sort of go on their own path. Okay, so they're bypassing the Anglo-Italian agreements, and they're getting better army leads as well. Okay. Because like this, look at this focus tree of Italy. It's actually huge. It's crazy. You can basically rebuild the Roman Empire. You can sort of build your own Mediterranean empire. You can go down a fascist or a communist or a democratic run. There's so many possibilities in the Road to 56 mod. My favorite Hearts of Iron mod. Okay, back on the research. We're currently getting radios, and we're getting basic rubber plants to move away from British and Allies' control of the rubber. What's going on with the Netherlands anyway? Democratic at the moment. Looks like they're firmly going to be democratic by the look of it. Australia looks like they're going to be bringing in the a fascist government. Yeah, g'day. Alright. And yeah, I don't know if Britain's going to be able to hold on to its overseas colonies. It's going to be interesting. So we've had a civil war in France, but overall, still no major changes in the major powers. Because sometimes when you play with unhistorical, sometimes like the major powers can just like simply throw. There can be a civil war in the USSR, or which actually looks more likely, potentially. That's moving quite a bit. That democratic blue looks quite large there as well. Okay, so at the moment, the Italians are trying to study the Spanish Civil War and learn from their mistakes, getting minus land doctrine cost. It's because we sent volunteers over there to help. Currently, research and production-wise, we have an Italian tank designer, along with a Brescia arsenal. Brescia. Football team now, that's the only way I know how to say that. And they also have a construction company as well. Decent military staff as well. Oh, but here we go. We might have our first sort of chain of events here as Italy looks to claim Yugoslavia. That will complicate things. They're in a good position, but if Italy pushes over there, that can complicate things. I guess they're not going to go into France and over the Maginot Line and into Belgium, because they don't need to now. They can focus on eastern claims, and it looks like they're going to be signing the Pact of Steel as Italy becomes closer with the German Reich in military cooperation. And as such, they're researching flamethrower desert jungle equipment, which is interesting, but more support artillery by the look of it. Germany has yet to Anschluss Austria. We'll bring in the Czech Republic, and the Pact of Steel has been signed. And okay. So what path are they going down now? Oh wow, it just like started there and something massive has happened as the Ruskies are having a full-on civil war. Oh no, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Joseph Stalin is now at war with the Eastern Russian Provisional Government. Are the Japanese backing them over there? They can potentially do that. Oh, that's been a little bit unlucky. In Siberia now. So it looks like they could be bringing back the Tsar potentially a democratic Russia would be interesting. There's a small pocket of here in Dnipro. And looks like the Italians are actually sending volunteers. Or they were at some point. Yeah, if you can get this civil war to occur down in the Caucasus, that's usually quite good. To avoid, and sort of take away the oil. Pushing into Stalingrad and Rostov is usually good. Or maybe even Crimea. It's actually quite easy to push here in Belarus as well. Alright, so it looks like the Italians are trying to support the Second Ruski Civil War and free France, and the Germans are coming over here as well. Oh, right. I forgot that Japan owned this. Yeah, because they have the Kuril Islands at this point, don't they? As we move now into 1938. Okay, so the way this campaign is going, with Hungary now joining the Axis, and Italy now in the Axis as well, along with Austria and Hungary as free and independent. No, Austria got Anschlussed in the end. Oh, okay. Hungary's now in, though. Wow, looks like this is going to go the way of the Axis, potentially. I'm curious to see what happens in the US. So Albania has been formally been brought in as a protectorate, because at the moment this is what Italy own. Obviously the Horn of Africa here in Ethiopia, they still have this Libyan territory. And now they have a small pocket here on the coast. Oh, and as this civil war is still going on in the USSR, the longer it goes on, more of these small Soviet republics are going to want to claim independence, such as Georgia. We've even got like Lithuania here. Oh wait, the Germans are at war with them, okay. No, we're at war with them. Italy, the Reich, and Hungary at war with the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, which is trying to come back. That can be an issue if they somehow merge with Poland and form the Commonwealth. Oh, Karelia has now ceded. So far, it looks like the Axis and fascist powers are probably going to be the dominant player in this run, with the Soviets, unfortunately for them... Oh no, we're about to... it's about to go into a huge... No, it's not. Okay, I thought things got a little bit close there. As it's not even the USSR anymore, it's the Soviet Pact. As it looks like the White Russians are doing okay. Turkmenistan has now declared its independence. Georgia looks like they capitulated there, though. They are getting pushed up here in Murmansk. Okay. What's Brazil doing? They've gone fascist as well. America still might not enter the fray, and it looks like Neville Chamberlain's still here. Oh, that's kind of big. Things might have kicked off here a bit more, as the Reich has declared war upon Czechoslovakia. Or the Czech Republic. Oh, and it has... Oh, no. Oh, wow. I did not anticipate this, guys. What a crazy chain of events here. So... My God, I want to get past this so I can actually read what's going on. So, although France is a free state, they're actually going down the... What is this? The French alliance route. Guaranteeing the independence. Oh, no. Germany through. But we're doing actually alright here. We're actually really pushing down here into southern France. Italy is doing exceptionally well, as the Germans and the Italians are focusing on the southern front. No movement is really being done on the Maginot Line. And, oh, even with getting the RNG of France joining the Axis, looks like they're going to throw. Okay, what's going on over here? Still holding for now. Oh, as Italy and the Germans are pushing only a fair few tiles behind. How are we going army-wise? 134 divisions, 1,000 over battalions. Got a decent fleet as well. 62 subs, 104 destroyers. Air Force is looking good as well. So after all that, France had to be taken by force. And they are still holding on the Maginot Line here. As once the French state capitulates, that's it. Oh, it's because they declared war upon the Czech Republic. What's this? The Crimean Republic. Looks like the Tatars are back. Yugoslavia. Oh, no. Okay. Join the French alliance. It's going to complicate things. Yeah, it seems like the Brits and the Americans for now seem to be neutral. Greece is now being called in. Uh-oh, Greece has joined the Allies. Oh, no. Oh, shit. So, with France... Oh, as if. So, they did capitulate them in the end. The United States of Mexico has accepted 58k in manpower. Okay. So, now Italy is at war with the Allies. Well, thankfully, we managed to get a large navy. So, it looks like we've divided Yugoslavia and southern France between ourselves and the Germans as they take the majority of the north. But now, the Axis powers are at war with the Allies. And fighting is now occurring in Greece with Italian and Swedish forces. Who would have thought that? Why is Sweden involved? Oh, okay. Sven-Olof Lindholm. Okay. As the Axis now is taking a lot of control here. Oh, the northern front, okay. What's happening over here? Is that Belarus gaining its independence? Yeah, in Minsk it looks like it. Things looked a little bit sketchy here. I forgot to mention it. When the Reich just annexed Lithuania, they now border the Soviet Union. Well, pushing now into 1939. Oh, okay. Looks like some South American nations are joining the Allies in France. Interesting. They shouldn't have enough factories for the Italians to need to capitulate them. No, it's still only the UK. And some naval invasions are being drawn up. Okay, so the United Authoritarian Fascist States of Mexico have now joined the Axis. That's pretty good for the powers, being the Axis powers. As moving into the states will be easy if they join in, but it looks like they're being I can't even speak properly. Isolationalist, and potentially same with the Allies as well. Alright, the campaign in Greece continues. With, actually contested naval supremacy in the Mediterranean. Maybe in the East Aegean here it seems to be better, and sort of towards the Adriatic. Air Force wise as well, we're doing okay. Oh no, I haven't checked down in Africa. Oh no. The UK has come storming in, and to help with African power, Italian forces can't seem to push into the Peloponnese here. Oh, and we have the Treaty of Moscow. Oh, wow. As Japan took 5 states. Seriously? But who are they, then? Wait, why are they still attacking them? Why are the Ukrainians doing that? Okay. Norway joins the Allies. Uh-oh. Yeah, so Japan is Korea. Oh, they actually took Vladivostok. Interesting. Wait, did the Brazilians get involved in this just then? Oh, that's going to complicate things if a naval invasion was to occur into the UK. Alright. I don't know if that's a good thing. I guess the Soviets, like being, the Soviet Union's now weakened, so they probably would have gone to blows with the Axis powers eventually, so making them slightly weak is probably not too bad. So at the moment, Axis forces still holding the majority of Europe. They have lost a little bit of power and influence in Africa. Oh, yeah, Brazil joined the Axis. Oh, wow. And we're still dealing with the French and Allied alliance. The Spanish are not in, but it looks like Greece might actually eventually fall, as now the Turks have joined. Oh, well, that's a huge chain of events. Look at this. Oh, that's what. Wow, how did the Turks come in? Never fear, Istanbul is here. They switched over to fascist. Oh, wow, yeah, that's made a huge difference. That's helped with the supply down here as well, as the British have retaken Jerusalem from the Italians. Japanese Russia. What? Oh, they won in the end. I do like when that happens. I have seen it before, where they go shogunate and focus in eastern Siberia rather than China. Okay. The Empire of Manchuria. So yeah, so it looks like the Japanese now control the Kremlin and Russian Duma. Okay. Well, it looks like it's a pretty good push here, as the Greeks might lose Athens after all. I'm sure with this war going on, the Turks are probably going to want some territory there. And it looks like the fight on the eastern frontier in Romania is probably going to fall. What are these? Is that Brunei? Oh, no, that's Bulgarian units. Interesting. Alright. December 1939. About to get to 1940 now. The States are still yet to get involved. The Allies are still under the control of Neville Chamberlain. No Winston Churchill. And it's still the UK needing to capitulate. The Axis powers have lost 1.5 million to 1.1 of the Allies. They have now capitulated. And there are some... There are some small British naval incursions here. As D-Day has happened, Britain has landed in Normandy. Oh no. They've really got to cut that out. Denmark joins the Allies. The Axis are in a really good position here, but they've got to be careful because they might throw. Greece is still holding on to Athens defiantly. But as the Italians and Germans have capitulated the Kingdom of Egypt, and now they control the Suez, which is kind of massive, that's going to dictate the flow from basically the Pacific and any trade going through there. So now the Mediterranean is pretty much firmly turned into an Axis lake. And now the Italians are negotiating with their Finnish counterparts and training them in winter training. Okay. Democratic. Because depending on what the Japanese want to do is going to largely... They're going to make the Kremlin do whatever they want. There are some small, like, states, though. Belarus, Crimea, Karelia. Wait, the Japanese shogunate own... Wait, what? Oh, they own Lithuania. That's kind of strange. Alright. Looks like Italy is now mostly in charge of Bulgaria, Romania. The Turks have taken control of southern Greece. Got to give it to the Greeks. They are... Oh, they only just capitulated there, and they are fighting to the absolute bitter end. My god. Alright. Seems like they're doing a bit better in South America here against the Brazilians, potentially. There's been some small little British incursions there, but nothing too crazy. Still got those naval invasions wanting to leave from Brittany to eventually get to the UK. But at the moment, it's still a 50-50 between the Allies and the Axis. They're actually sort of breaking even there. Oh, here we go. The Finnish and Swedish war. Oh, okay. How does that change things? We were just training the Finns, though. Doesn't seem like the Axis is getting directly involved just yet. I'd be interested to see where the Germans go. Favor quality, okay. And looks like the Italians are just trying to get their recruitable population up. Now sitting at 2.6. Iceland's joined the Allies. There was a white piece there, which is interesting. And it looks like the Axis are now focusing on conquering Norway, which is probably not a bad play. They don't have air supremacy over the top, unfortunately, but they're contesting the naval. As they do seem to be struggling to actually navally invade into the UK to finish off the Allies. Maybe taking Norway. Oh, excuse me. I don't know where that came from. Bless me. Bless you. That just completely bamboozled me. Right. Yeah, navally invading from Norway can be easier sometimes. Alright, back down here. So, it looks like Italy didn't go down a alternative communist path or try to rebuild the Roman Empire. They are firmly helping out the Germanic tribes by the look of it. Looks like Rhodes has fallen to Turkish occupation because that was under our control at one point. But it has now ballooned to 4 million casualties as the US and the Japanese Russian government seems to, for whatever reason, be quite neutral. Norway's now capitulated. That's huge. Yeah, and all that African territory is now gone. It's firmly under Italian control. That's massive. That's so much resources there. My. 27 divisions in progress. 162. They've upped their battalions by quite a bit. Oh, they've actually switched to concentrated. No, sorry. It was on oh, what? No, I thought it was on dispersed. My bad. I usually go that. They're going to concentrated. Nice 1940 equipment. Haven't gone with maintenance or field hospitals, which is interesting. No heavy tanks, mostly light and artillery. Focusing on more of a naval approach. Engineering and industry. Haven't even bothered going down that. Intel-wise, I haven't really been looking at this. Alright, still building a spy network here in London. And just some various other operations. Trade is fine. We're not really importing anything. We're only importing rubber from the German Reich, which is still a little bit hard to come by. Construction-wise, still increasing our capacity in mainland Italy. Production is better now, and we're still running at a rifle deficit, which needs to be a lot better. But now it's ballooned to 1942, and it's another long war. Okay, as the majority of mainland Europe and the corner here in Scandinavia is now under Axis control. Looks like they're focusing on Africa more so. They're struggling to actually get naval supremacy, I'm assuming, here in the channel. Yeah, it's just dominated by the British Navy. It's going to be a tough one. There are some naval invasions prepared by the German High Command into some of the islands, going into Shetland, the Falklands and whatnot. Believe, obey and fight. Continuing with 100% war support and stability. Okay, looks like the Brazilians are throwing back the Colombian alliance here. Yeah, the Argentine brought in the Argentine League. Man, if France didn't, like, go to war with the Germans or back Czechoslovakia, this could have been so much simpler of a campaign. Republic of China still quite strong. I wonder where they're going to lead in the end. And once again, are they going to go fascist, bring in the Tsar, or are they going to go democratic? That'd be annoying if the Ruskies end up joining either the Allies or the French alliance, which is now mostly been dissolved. Franco hasn't really joined anyone either. But things are starting to Turn into a little bit of a stalemate here at the moment. The only way to get this war wrapped up, as it now balloons to 5 million lost, is the only way to do that is get rid of the UK. Italy has lost 1 million along with the Reich, providing 27% of the participation to their 61. But overall, what's happening over here? The Ruskies could have done a lot worse. They're being backed by the Japanese now. They did lose Karelia, Belarus, and Crimea, but like I said, it could have been a lot worse. Finland and Sweden are battling it out. I don't know who we're going to back in the end. War with Greece bypassed. Claims on Turkey. Oh yeah, because they're now in the Axis, right? But so far, we've got a nice chunk of the former Roman Empire territory. We've got the majority of North Africa. Unfortunately, Hispania is not under our control. Gaul is still under German control. The Kurds have come on in. Oh, they just got annexed super quick. Yeah, they're doing a lot better down here. In territory they actually can move from, the Italians and Axis forces. Yeah, it's like they're not even attempting. It's just about to go into 1941. Yeah, the longer this goes, there could be a potential skirmish on the Eastern Front, which is not good. And we're also allowing the Americans to come in. 1940, if the Americans come in, anywhere after that can be a major issue, because they have just been sitting there, saving up all of their production capacity and efficiency. They've accepted our lend lease. Oh, here we go. Oh no! A puppet against Russia. Oh no. That's not good. We're still dealing with the Allies, and every time they actually, like, navally invade us, they actually do quite well. Look at this. They've nearly taken Paris. It's not because of the, like, air support they get. It's just their navy is so strong still. Yeah, pushing into Africa, I don't know if it's necessarily the play. Bit of a push here, though, with Siam coming in. Alright. German and Thai or Siam forces are fighting here, and... what is this? Burma. Uh-huh. Yeah, they really need to wrap up this war, the Axis, otherwise they're gonna potentially deal with the wrath of the United States. Construction, production isn't too bad. Oh, finally they've got a equipment surplus. Took them long enough. And any attempt into Great Britain seems to be thwarted. You'd nearly have to, like, bring in Ireland somehow if you could. What's the Germans doing? Increasing their U-boat effect. We've got 5 million. And the US has joined the Allies. Oh, no. Okay, what's going to happen here, then? Wait, what was that? Right, so that was that southern war that was going on. So they capitulated. Oh, wait, no, they dropped out of it. Alright. This is huge, though. This could be a massive problem here. The Axis could lose a lot of forces trying to flood into Mexico. Because the US is just flying over the border. I reckon they're going to capitulate. Wait, did the Japanese just leave? No. But now the US has to be taken out in 1941. That's what I was worried about. If they didn't wrap up the Allies sooner, I'd be fearful of this as the US push into Sonora, California. They're starting to push into the Mexican heartland now. The US obviously operating airfields over the southwest, southern Rockies and California are doing quite well. Axis forces are arriving. But I don't even know if they're getting through, to be honest. You'd imagine the British are probably stopping them somewhat. Alright. Yeah, so the Japanese somehow went shogunate slash like peaceful, but they somehow brought in the Russians. Okay. Was not expecting that. So we've still got a front here in this theatre. Still got the Italian theatre as well. I think this is a lost cause here. I think Mexico's probably going to capitulate. Still a while before we've even got to 1956. But even with how well the Axis are doing, now with the US in, it's a completely different monster, this war. So we've got this El Salvador war going on. The Chinese are still skirmishing. Okay. And the Finnish and Swedes are still fighting in their own separate wars that are not connected to this big grand one. Okay, they're still pushing there. Guadalajara, is that how you say it? As if they've... Oh, no, US forces are getting caught here, though. Interesting. Wait, they've lost 270k pushing over the Mexican border. Are you serious? That's quite a bit, I'd think. Italy's now getting small arms. Yeah, Mexico's not looking good here. I reckon they're going to capitulate. Now that they're firmly in the Allies. Although those islands got taken, they're still not successfully navally invading in Scotland or in the south. I wonder if they're going to try and push here in southern Mexico. Yeah, it looks like they're doing it. This is a bold strategy here from the Axis powers. Just not being able to get into the UK. And the UK kind of knows it as well. They're bringing over divisions. Italy, Japanese. Powers fighting here. And is the Air Force here? Nope, they are still not gaining or maintaining air supremacy in Mexico. I guess that's what you have to do, because if they're struggling to navally invade the UK, they're probably going to struggle to navally invade the USA. Okay, still fighting here. So what's Japan helped at in this conflict? 200k. Italy still has majority of the war score. So at the moment for both sides, for the Axis to lose, Germany, Italy and the Japanese need to capitulate. For the Allies, the UK and the US need to capitulate. It's now ballooning to 8 million casualties lost. And it looks like American production and logistics is probably helping them out here more than anything. And Britain's over here helping as well. So essentially in this playthrough, the common turned through and were never a threat. But the Allies were kind of divided. The French wanting to do their own thing. Interesting. Alright, so there's still a fair few Allied outposts, essentially. Still holding. Strengthen the black shirts. Alright. Italian tankies. Increase... What is this? Light tank models and a railway gunner. That's cool. Gonna deploy them. Oh yeah, finally, Italy is only getting medium tanks. Focusing on mostly infantry. Oh, seems to be a bit of a push here. Manchukuo, Hungary sending in forces. Now, about to go to 1942 with the US and the UK firmly involved. Oh, this is gonna be a tough one. Wait, look at this. There's like Japanese forces coming from this way. I thought Mexico would have capitulated by now. But they seem to be holding. This is so close. It's actually back and forth on this border here. The US are struggling to push. I say that, and that's a huge driving spearhead there, though. Oh, wow. Okay. The US and the Australians are holding down in the south. They're still controlling some supply in the Middle East. But look at all this. Like, Italy is so strong at the moment. Look at that. Look at all the nice green territory they hold. Norway. Yes. The Italian Kingdom of Norway. Yeah, things are sort of slowing down a little bit here. As it's just sort of grinding out. Wait, what? Oh, that's huge. What? Oh, Turkey had a civil war. Okay. Istanbul and the... Maybe... Whoa, 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 whoa. What's happening here now? Alright, so it's like the Eastern Kurd sort of part. And the coastal part here. Oh, that's big. That could really complicate things if we're not careful. Most of the Axis forces are actually away in either the Pacific Theater in Thailand, South Africa, or in the Mexican front. Interesting. Oh, they're actually like kind of holding, to be honest. In this Pergamon region. Oh no, they've taken it back by the look of it. Yep, no. Because the Ruskies are quite close by. Turkey nearly throwing the game. Okay. They're about to be crushed. I thought it could have been far worse. Nope. Look at that. Full air supremacy over Asia Minor quite quickly. We're all good. Okay. Ah, they're done. Nice. Back to the grind. I reckon we're probably going to outproduce them. It's now ballooning to 10 million. This is going to go to like a 20 million game, isn't it? Logistics could be a little bit more optimal. Oh wow, Italy has 288 divisions pushing into the late game now. 2,500. Still fighting on this border. Yeah, only 14 fleets. They still have a lot of destroyers, but those submarines got absolutely smashed. 38 air wings. 3,000 Italian fighters. Currently scraping the barrel population-wise. Limited exports, total mobilization. All of the Italian research and production you could wish for. They've currently gone with a military factory, dockyard, and fuel. Silo construction speed with the law and government. Firmly still a part of the Axis. Firmly supporting Mr. Musa. Trade is fine as well. Oh wow, we're importing a lot of steel from the Germans. That's probably what we're lacking, like steel production. And this government, for some reason, is giving us tungsten. Alright. Still burning a lot of military factories as well. 179. Oh, wow. 76. Good split. We're pumping out infantry as well, as the war still rages. I would say that they're probably gaining ground. The US and the UK here in Mexico. But we're making them absolutely work for it. Oh, I haven't looked over here. I was wondering if there's any... Oh yeah, we got some Russian and Japanese push. I was like, oh, maybe they can invade into Alaska. That'd be kind of cool if they could do that. No, that is very much wishful thinking. Turkey recapitulated as well. Switzerland, Belgium, Netherlands still neutral, along with Belarus and Crimea. The Swedish war still now going on. Medium tanks have now been constructed, because at the moment, Italy is mostly focusing on just infantry. They've got a medium tank in production, which is probably not a bad idea. We've sort of been focusing and relying on German tank efficiency more than anything else. A point Capone. What does this do? Oh, increases our capital ship production rate and armor. It's probably not a bad idea. If I could look, we're probably losing the naval warfare game, I'd say. At the moment, looks like the Axis Air Force is winning in Burma, over the Channel. It's really just in South and North America. Like I said earlier in the campaign, the Mediterranean is now an Axis lake, while everything else is really hard to project power into, particularly around the Allied forces in the UK and the States. And it does look like... Oh, Churchill's in, for one. Uh-oh. And FDR's in as well. Oh no, the boys are back. The boy band's back together. Uh-oh. That's not good. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, looks like to make things easier in Mexico, administration-wise, look like the UK is controlling some of these Mexican states. Japanese are here as well. Okay. The UK and the US still defiant. Looks like these pushes are really... Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. China has made the decision to join the Allies. India and China allying up. Oh no. So does that mean we have to get rid of them? Yeah, look at this. The US, the UK and China. That's massive. Oh, we just got rid of 6 million manpower of the Allies. Now they've got a huge amount. Thankfully we've got the Russians to sort of counteract that. But now they're going to be dragging our attention here. So this Pacific theater has now gotten a whole lot worse. Oh no, we might not be able to hold our former French Indochina territory, as we're now in July 1942. This is going to be an interesting game. I don't know how the Axis are going to come back from this. They had the Allies and the French alliance incredibly on the back foot early on. But it's going to be a tough one as we're going into 1943, still a long ways before 1956, obviously. This mod goes to 56. So far, bit of a stalemate in South Africa, and maybe even South America to some extent. Oh, here we go. The British boys have once again landed in Dunkirk. They've done quite well, the UK. They've actually landed in northern France quite a bit. We can't really seem to defend it overly too well. It's technically not my piece of territory to defend, seeing the Reich control most of northern France. We're still obviously trying to hold our core Italian territory. But look at this. Mexico looks like it's about to fall to the US and British coalition. And we've sort of withdrawn out of here. Most of the Axis powers have some units here. But Italy is going to be firmly out of this one. That's a shame. They just absolutely steamrolled over the border of the US. That was my concern. Not wrapping up the British and the UK early. Because now it's allowed the like we could have capitulated the Allies a lot earlier. But the Axis just struggle to break through that British naval supremacy. Now in November 1942. And Mexico has fallen. It looks like the Axis has swung their focus to China now, which is becoming a little bit of a slog, but we're actually taking better quality territory. And there are some small pockets of Axis resistance holding out in Mexico, but it looks like the British and the US government are going to regionally administrate Mexico by the look of it, which is interesting. Okay, so what's going on down here? So we've got Brazil, some of the other South American powers, but it's really Bolivia that's holding out. Indochina that we managed to take from the French early on. We hold that against the Siamese. And funnily enough, we're fighting in Finland. We were actually, believe it or not, training them in winter warfare as the Soviets were sort of yet to join the side. About 60% towards capitulation, but this war is going to balloon to a 20 to 30 million casualty war, as WW2 is now well and truly underway. The Comintern sort of through, although we got the RNG of there being more fascist and sort of Axis sympathizers, being the French flipping, they didn't join us. They went their own way, which was a little bit annoying. So it ended up being, we ended up with fighting essentially the combined nations that you consider the Allies, but they were kind of split between two different factions. All right, pushing into Finland now as they join the Allies. Yeah, it's just because they got caught on the wrong side. Because we backed the Swedes compared to the Finns. The Finns would normally be our allies, but the Japanese took over Russia, basically, which was interesting. It's about to balloon to 20 million now. And we're getting held in the north still, but we're doing quite well in the coastal region there of China. We're still somehow holding on to, what is that, Laos, Vietnam. We're making no progress down in South Africa now. Unfortunately, most of the British colonial territory in Africa was given up and liberated. So there's all these small, tiny African states, which would be annoying to individually war deck. But I guess that was the cost. They basically sabotaged all that supply there. So we don't have all of Africa under our control, but a decent chunk. I'm surprised India is still firmly with them, as now Thailand and Siam is... We're being sort of pushed back in that Burma, Myanmar region. What is this? Hans Frank. Wait, what? Why is there two German factions with the same flag? Oh. I've never seen this before. In Lvov. Okay, so there's a Polish / like Ukrainian state in Krakow, controlled by the Germans. Okay. Paraguay is now coming, and Finland looks like they're about to capitulate. South America looks like it's going to be fully under our control. But North America is firmly a part of the Allies. It's going to be interesting to see this war and how it's going to end up. The longer it goes, you'd think you'd favor the Allies, but we might have more production. It just depends if the Japanese or the Ruskies betray us. Looks like most of southern Finland has capitulated, except for this coastal area, as German, Japanese, and Italian forces look to march on Helsinki with a small division of United States soldiers trying to defend it with Thompsons. It's kind of cool. But the Japanese shogunate is taking control. Karelia is now on our side because of the second civil war with the White Russians facing the Red. There's still a small section of states that gained their autonomy with the fall of the USSR, Karelia, Belarus and whatnot. Well, we might have a bit of a breakthrough here, as we've got some forces Pushing south. Beijing might actually fall to Axis forces as well if we're lucky. But I'm surprised they joined the Allies after all this. Maybe Japan was threatening them, technically. We were kind of lucky to get the Japanese on side in this one, as when they tend to focus into Siberia, they tend to be more pacifist and don't really want to go into China. Oh, Karelia's now joined the Axis. Perfect. They were technically fighting the Finns, weren't they? But I don't think they were in the Axis. That's kind of cool. Karelia. Maybe that'd be a really cool series to play. A little bit weird. Operating out of Murmansk. And Finland has now officially capitulated. And the entirety of Scandinavia and the majority of the Nordic countries now serve the Axis powers. The US is still putting some troops up here in the Arctic, which is surprising. Okay, yeah, so there's no naval invasions happening in the north, and now we're just purely focusing on China. And now it's ballooned to 20 million Axis versus Allied losses. Germany sits at 3 mil. We're sitting just behind it. Things have sort of slowed down in the jungle there, and Beijing has fallen to Axis forces. But China is really dragging a lot of our attention. Oh, once again, what is this, the 5th? The 6th D-Day attempt? As the British, with their naval supremacy, still are relentlessly navally invading. Like, we just can't stop them. Another decent chunk of northern France has fallen. And the Germans, once again, just have to quickly go over there and try and throw them back. Oh, some got surrounded there. I've still got a chunk of my infantry just protecting the core Italian territory. Yeah, but just look at all these African states, like I mentioned before. Chad, Mali and whatnot. Just former French and British territory there. They're free and independent countries that we will eventually focus on. Now, stability and war support should be a little bit higher. Fuel's fine. 323 factories now, though. 10 million manpower. And we've still got a bunch of units protecting Italy. So let's just hope the Germans don't throw France. But every single attempt by the Allies has been thwarted. We have needed to send some of our own Italian boys up there. Alright, research-wise, nothing too crazy. Rubber could be a bit better. Production's fine. And we're about to surround and crush a bunch of British forces that have been caught off near Rennes and Nantes. The Allies are sort of still pushing through the Panama Canal there. They are still resisting in the south of America and South Africa. Two steps forward, one step back. We're slowly but surely gaining some incremental ground here in China, as the Italian and Axis and Japanese Sino war is still going out. It's probably better for them to be fighting with a united Axis into China rather than making the... what do they tend to do? The Great East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere. And having assistance from Indochina. Oh, wow. Iraq joined the Allies. Oh, wow. I was not anticipating that. Luckily, Turkey is on our side. But it looks like the Saudis have joined the French alliance. Interesting. How can they do that? Well, they're fascists. That's the thing, is like a lot of these enemies... well, now that they're enemies, they've joined those... like, really, the Saudis being fascist should really join the Axis, but they're in the French alliance. So, although France was weakened and we took it early, them being fascist is sort of throwing a spanner in the works of potential Axis allies we could have had. But so far, Italy and the Germans haven't really thrown this series yet. The French, going fascist, kind of did a little bit. The UK and US are firm, resolute democracies, with the USSR and really communism and the Comintern falling by the wayside. Oh, we've got some progression here in China now. As Beijing and most of the coastal territories falling, they should be able to make quick work of West China, potentially, by the look of it. Okay, Hong Kong has now been liberated. The British don't own that anymore. Nanchang has fallen to Axis forces as we go into June 1943. It's interesting how the Axis is pivoting their attention. We basically gave up Mexico. Hope it's worth it. Oh, wow. Okay. We're currently justifying to go to war with the Swiss. Interesting. Is it wise opening up a front here? I don't know about that. We're sort of focusing on this Chinese front. If we can connect that border with Indochina, that'd be good. Oh, Brittany, they've launched an offensive. And Calais as well. Yeah, if we're kind of threatening the Germans there. To be fair, Belgium and the Netherlands are neutral in this. Iraq's about to fall, by the way. Oh, Churchill's now in charge. Oh, and same with FDR as well. Interesting. Yeah, things can get a little bit difficult once Churchill's in charge. Some small naval invasions on the coast of Norway there. Nothing too difficult to deal with. Pushing into Iraq's going to be pretty good. We're going to be able to liberate all those oil fields from the British. We're nearly about to connect the former Indochina territory and the core Chinese territory. If we can just make it a little bit easier pushing through that jungle, that'll be good. Wow, 24 million. I wonder... Hopefully this doesn't throw us justifying against Switzerland, but it might be worth it. There's like very few neutral territory left in Europe. But looking at what we currently control, most of Italy and the surrounding coastal territory in the Mediterranean, we actually currently control the entirety of Finland, which is hilarious. You know, the Italian state of Finland. Okay, we actually might be able to win this. Got a decent amount of aerial supremacy. Would like that to increase. We're currently researching 1944 submarines to combat British naval hegemony. Our rubber is quite down though. It's because we haven't seized the Netherlands and their rubber production, as the Allies are still, well, a thing. We're only a couple tiles away from actually uniting up. But at this rate, if it continues on, the Republic of China will fall to the Axis powers. It's a balloon to 3.6. Iraq has now fallen. So to win, yep, US, China, and now that 40%. 3.5 million. Crikey. Okay, so it looks like that British invasion in Calais has now fallen. We've got plans and preparations set for the invasion of Switzerland. The Alpine Ulcer that's been sitting there. They were good for helping us in their financial capacity, but hopefully we can bring them into the Axis fold. Alright, let's bypass this. 56%. I don't know if we've got the support for it. We still have that puppet focus against Japanese Russia, but they've been a quite decent ally, so we haven't needed them. They didn't even go down the Tsar route, which I thought they tend to do. Okay. Things are looking a lot better here in China. Was a risky strategy, but it seemed to have worked out. We're getting a 1944 destroyer as well soon. Okay, still want to try and... Yeah, I guess we just sort of have to focus on our navy a little bit. Like, we've been trying... We've been focusing on our land power capacity. Like, this tech tree is massive. We sort of bypassed a lot of this. We still potentially could go to war with Spain, because Franco's just there chilling, benefiting from the war. And we didn't even need to use the USSR war decks. We've lost 4.4 now? Oh my. Yeah, it's nearly hit 30 mil. That's crazy. 471 divisions. 21% of the participation. Mostly land power, yeah. Yeah, we just had, like, if I was to navally invade from the Faroe Islands, we just, like, even if we go into the Isle of Man, right? Yeah, look at this. We just don't have naval supremacy. I don't know if China... yeah, maybe if we get rid of China, like, the Japanese Navy can go over and help. I don't know. We had to focus on China anyway because they joined the Allies. When they have over 50 factories, they become a major player anyway. Just tend to zoom out here because, especially when you're getting into 1940, like past 1940, the game tends to lag quite a bit. I found that if you're playing on max speed, it's better to zoom out. Nearly 5 million! Oh my. Hopefully we get a bit of chunk of this Chinese territory, because we are putting in a decent amount of work to hold it. We have 474 divisions. Yeah, it's our rubber. 10 million manpower still. Production looks good. We've got railway guns coming. We've been mostly focusing and allowing the Germans to have the tank initiative. We've just sort of had the numbers and manpower. Still only 15 fleets. I'd nearly say less than what we started the campaign with. Oh, gotta watch out for this though. Another Allied offensive here. Mongolia just joined on in. I know the Germans are... we're focusing on this Chinese front, but you can't really allow... Like, I'm protecting my Italian territory. Italy's not going to capitulate. Same with their Mediterranean territory, but... Come on, Germans. Switch on. Okay, I don't think it's too bad, because we've got Japanese forces there in and around near Mongolia. Oh, they're actually taking some Dutch territory back. Most of the Middle East is actually Axis-controlled as well. Except for Iran, they're being independent. They are so close to capitulating. The US has come on over and helped them. No, it looks like we didn't really have the support to push into Switzerland, so we might not end up doing it. Nearly 5 million, jeez. Mongolia is about to fall. Uh-oh. This is not looking good. I wonder if we can capitulate China before France comes back, potentially. I thought they were already in the French alliance. Why are they going back and forth like that? Okay, we've expanded our naval intelligence. Hopefully that will help us once we eventually have to go to war over the channel, if we can somehow get there. I'm just watching both the fronts here. If they're not careful, France are going to come back. We might have to send some forces up there. Oh no, here we go. the rest of our Axis brethren are getting over there. They've retaken Tours, Paris. It's nearly half of its back. Like, what you'd consider southern Vichy France is not. Like, if they get anywhere near our core Italian territory, that's not going to be threatened. Once they deal with Amsterdam and The Hague, they might be able to push back. There's still forces up in the Arctic fighting. I only just noticed and clocked onto that. Oh my. And 16... Yeah, it's ballooned over 30 million. Wow, I can't wait to see how this war goes. You got to give it to the UK and the States. And pretty much North America, I suppose. Oh, with India and Australia, they are seriously holding out against a larger Axis Europe. Even without Comintern help, they're doing quite well. Yeah, we're still not got naval supremacy there. Things have slowed down slightly. Our stability and war support's bounced up a bit. Things looked a little bit hairy there for the Italians, but we're okay. Now we're in January 1944. Okay. More reinforcements are coming here. Alright. Now, we've got forces coming in to help. Medium tanks. We haven't really gone down the other side of the construction there. We've already got plenty of resources, which is fine. Okay, demand the Canary Islands. Oh, okay, so looks like we're going to go down the Spanish question. Mr. Musa wants to bring Italy into... Sorry, Italy control over Spain. Okay, we're back on an offensive here. They are so close to capitulating. I actually think it made it worse for the Chinese when the Mongolians came on in, because we're actually running logistics and supply chains through there. Lyon has been retaken by the Italians and the Axis. Like, what are we up? Yeah, so I was just curious to see. We have been accepting some lend leases here and there, but it's mostly trusted and true Italian infantry equipment and logistics we're using. Alright, the Japanese shogunate controlling most of China. Still a net positive for us. Looks like we're not going to go into Switzerland just yet. We might actually end up going into Spain by the look of it. But now that it's taken a little while to get our forces over here, along with our Axis comrades, it looks like we're going to try and push back the occupation of France again. It's a little bit annoying. Like, they haven't fully come back, the French, which can happen, but we seem to be kind of it's kind of working, like baiting them into France. Like, there's nothing we can do with their naval logistics. They're going to come in. Like, they're going to continue to naval invade with their navy. Like, our navy can't stop them, so there's no point. We'll try and retake Paris with our battle-hardened Italian units. Look at this. We've got some, forest Italian units. We've got some German winter forces coming in to help. And we'll try and retake Normandy for a uncountable amount of time. 5 million Italians lost. Oh my. We are trying to navally invade from Norway, which is interesting. Us being the Axis. How have they not capitulated yet? Alright, some small pockets of invasion down in the Dutch East Indies. Oh, finally, yep. We're going to go with the Ethiopian Empire. I didn't mention that before. It is doing that. It's worth doing that at some point. Paris has been retaken. And China's about to fall. March 1945. I think this might actually go to 56 potentially. But we'll see how we go. Oh, hang on. Oh, wow. It has taken nearly 10 years to get a footholding here in the UK. And finally, we've had a successful naval invasion. Look at this. We've finally got naval supremacy here. Maybe this, like, we've been smashing the navy so much. Yeah, look at this. Italian forces have landed in Newcastle and are on the footsteps of Edinburgh. Oh, here we go. We might be able to finally capitulate the UK. Dealing with the US is a different story. To be fair, we do have some South American allies. But maybe the US and British naval supremacy is starting to wane out a bit as Edinburgh has fallen and small chunks of Scotland as well. As we throw them out of France for another time. More Axis forces are landing as German troops walk into Edinburgh while the Italians rule Newcastle. And it's only a matter of time before we're freed up on this eastern front. Surely we're not too far away from the Chinese capitulating. Where are they? Oh my god, they are so close as well. 5 million lost in the end. Italy now sits at 5.3. Alright, let's quickly double on back to the UK. Are they throwing back the... Oh, things look a little bit sketchy here. Newcastle, Edinburgh still holding. We've got some Italian tanks now fresh off the press. A lot of mostly motorized. Oh yeah, 38 German Panzers. We've even got some Russian T-34s. Actually, a lot of Japanese as well. Alright, so we've got the new Emperor of Ethiopia now done. And then we still want to focus on naval as well. So, has that changed things? Okay. I don't know if it technically has. How are they not capitulated yet? Surely. This is all united now. Now, hopefully once China capitulates, India will be done soon. And now we're at war with national Spain. Could have picked a better timing, to be honest. And Spain has now joined the Allies. And now war over the Pyrenees has erupted. Oh, would you believe it? Spanish Morocco we're at war with. Is that quite big? Oh, this has now changed. Okay. Oh, things are calculating here. No, I thought that might have been potentially China all over. Yeah, Franco got the bad end of the stick on that one, I guess. Okay, so we're currently going with 1936 carrier hulls. And we're finally getting Recon Company 2 and Field Hospital as well. Okay, how's our position in... Oh, the UK we're still holding. Like, can we push into Glasgow? That would be beneficial. How are we going everywhere else? Wait, what? The Allies hold Åland. Or Åland. A Finnish autonomous zone. Okay. Looks like we are throwing them back here now, though. And, oh wow. The Spanish have actually punched through the Pyrenees and have taken Toulouse. We're slowly moving over the border from Bayonne. What's going on with our Air Force? We've got air supremacy in southern France. We also can't really... Oh no, here we go. Oh, we might be able to capitulate the UK here. This looks a lot better. Man, if China... Wait, if the UK capitulates before the UK, that would be hilarious. And I think they're going to do it as well. They've lost 2 million. I think they're just sort of done. We finally managed to out-duel naval supremacy here. So why? Like, who's operating here? Can I see the ships in the region? Or just we have supremacy. We can, like, literally just have a look. There seems to be a lot more, like, Japanese ships floating around here. German to some extent. We didn't really focus on the bottom over the channel. Okay, so how well are we doing here now? Oh, wow. We've got Italian forces pushing into Leicester. The Midlands has fallen. Things are calculating again here. Grimsby's about to fall to Italian hands. And we've pushed over the western side of the Pyrenees. However, on the right-hand side, in the Catalonia, sort of Toulouse region, the Spanish are now holding. Looks like they threw us back here in Spanish Morocco. We've been sort of focusing on small... no, we've actually got 132 of our M16s. It was the other tank division that had a lot. Oh, maybe that was a bit deceiving. We've actually got some Japanese, Russian tanks rocking up here as well. Oh, that's a nice little push. We might be able to move into Cambridge. We're still dominating the aerial supremacy, but the RAF, the Royal Air Force of Britain, still holding us back. They still managed to hold some ships in the channel. How are we going Navy-wise as well, actually? Haven't looked at it in a while. Still 17 fleets. Oh, wow. And Spanish Morocco has capitulated. We managed to get 10k fuel from then. This is massive. We had 110 subs at the start of this campaign. Our ships have taken an absolute battering. I think we also had a fair few more destroyers as well. We do have some battleships now. And some heavy cruisers. But overall, we've probably lost more ships in this series. Like, if I go to... here. Yeah, so... land combat power... aeroplanes destroy 3,000. We're not really strategic bombing. We've done a little bit of convoy raiding. Sunk enemy ships, 728. Wow. Mostly convoys. Casualties. A decent amount. We do get the offset from the Lend-Lease there. The Reich still has a bunch more factories than us. And overall... things have really slowed down here on this Chinese border. We haven't really pushed into Oman and like the Arabian Peninsula. Oh, we've won over here now, which is pretty good. And this like choke point here between, what is this? Zambia? Yeah, it's just on the Zambian border. This is an absolute death trap there. Alright, back up here. Looks like we've managed to do quite well. Oh, over the Pyrenees now, we've all got this. Barcelona is about to fall to the Axis powers. And Madrid is only a tile away from German troops coming on in. Back up here, looks like we've retaken Leicester. The battle for Leicester has been quite big. Cambridge, Oxford and London still remain defined as Italian soldiers move into Swindon. And in the far north of Scotland, we're probably about to get it. How are they not capitulated just yet? Now the Swedish Navy's here as well. Okay. Interesting. Naval air coordination, that's probably not a bad idea. And is London about to fall? With Italian tanks rolling on in? We've even got some US small arms. How? Yeah, here we go. These are the Panzer divisions. We've even somehow gotten some Italian tanks by the look of it. But you got to give it to the Brits. They've held out till nearly 1945. We still have that available war goal against the Japanese Russians, but doesn't look like it's going to go through. Intelligence-wise, everything's fine. We're going with the carrier hull now. The concentrated industry hasn't gone through. Trade. Oh, we managed to readjust that. With German steel, you'd imagine. Okay. We're slowly but surely starting to surround some of the regions in and around London. It can be quite a hard city to take. Same with this East Anglia portion. We've managed actually to divide southwest England between like Cornwall and the east now. Okay, there's been a little bit of a counter punch here. Okay. Oh, invasion in Brittany. But Spain is about to fall. shortly, with the Axis powers moving into Madrid. Probably didn't need to go to war against them, but it was worth it. Oh, we got a bit of a push here, though. Oh, wow. How have they done this? Some remnant Chinese troops there. Interesting. That's a lot of people in that pocket. Oh, my God. Look at that. We have 1.6k divisions. Crikey. Alright. How have they not fallen? Yeah, I don't know. I think now maybe Spain will fall. Before the UK. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. Throwing them back there in Brittany. How did this push go? It was okay. We lost Reading, but we took Salisbury. What was that? That was a Chinese faction joining the Axis. Okay. Up here or something. For some reason, we gave Indochina to the Germans. Whatever. Our war stability and support has gone down a little bit. Alright, China done. Now we need to get rid of the UK and the States. I'm curious to see if we're going to be able to actually get over there once the UK's fallen. We might be able to steal some of their navy, to be honest. We won't scuttle all of it. Okay, so no more fighting in the Arctic now. That's subsided. Yeah, so some of these countries did end up joining the Allies. Oh, we got Ivory Coast. Oh, no, no, it was actually core territory, my bad. Core, like, this is like core UK territory, Uganda. Yeah, I'm curious to see that none of these have sort of joined the Axis. Oh, anyway, the UK's capitulated. Nice. With the fall of London. And now, the faction ownership has switched over to the US. And it's now gone into a cool-looking NATO blue. So to end this war now, it's all up to FDR. The last bastion of Allied resistance. As it's going on, as this has ballooned to 40 million losses. Now going 66% favor of the Axis. Wow. Still focusing in India as well. So they're just like independent a little bit. I'm surprised Australia's still involved. And we're going to try and finish off the last little pockets of Allied resistance. Mostly American soldiers being left in Brighton, Ipswich, and Plymouth. As the Kingdom of Italy now holds the majority of the UK. Northern Ireland is now falling. Russian troops moving into Londonderry. Okay. Alright, Iceland is under Allied control. But now with Mexico gone, that's going to seriously complicate things. So, who is a part of them still? Malaya, Bolivia, Canada. We do hold Greenland. Oh, it's right, because it's because of Denmark, isn't it? Okay, are we going to start moving our navy capacity? Yeah, it looks like we've moved the navy north, or the Axis has moved the navy north. The German navy is now battling some of the Icelandic there as well, and some of the British. Alright. As November 1944, there are no full nations of Allied forces there. Some of our allies are eyeing off Belarus and Estonia, who's still somehow independent. Alright, Sea Wolves is now being complete. Nice. And the cooperation program. Italy offers to purchase escort ships. And we can actually send some of our ships to Sweden. It's probably not a bad idea. Help the man in the Arctic. Oh, a little bit of comeback here. They retook Oxford, Swindon and Reading as we're trying to leave. Yeah, it's just the English Channel here. Like, they've constantly had it. The only way we got actually into the UK was going around. But look how many nations have capitulated. Crikey. Yeah, so we still just need to take the US. Easier said than done. And do we even have a footholding at all? Anywhere? Alright, that was a pretty ambitious naval invasion, whoever that was. What is this? Oh, this is the Galapagos Islands. Trying to navally invade from there. Interesting. Okay. So, looks like we have the right idea from Brazil. We're going to try and navally invade into Mexico. Some of the Axis powers have an attempt to go into Florida on the Louisiana border. And Spain has now capitulated. Oh, we actually have, I didn't even notice this. Brazil and Japan actually managed to take the Dutch East Indies, or like modern day Indonesia. Interesting. They're probably not too far from my neck of the woods. Australia. My home country. My home state. They actually fixed Hobart because it was a little bit off before. Why is there a mine here? I don't know. How much population do we have here? 255k recruitable. Okay. I don't know if that population is exactly right. Okay, have we made any landings here? No, but I feel like they're coming soon. Yeah, there's no way that the US is going to capitulate Germany, Italy, Hungary, Brazil, the Japanese shogunate, or Sweden. It's just not happening. Only a matter of time. I don't think there's going to be an Axis split or a feud between some of the powers. I think we're pretty content with the territory we've got as Italy. We're not going to betray Germany. Japan might throw a spanner in the works. You never know. They tend to do so. Traditionally, Italy throw campaigns, but they seem to be doing alright. They're still, like, really holding down this position here, though. Even without air support. Iceland joins the Allies. I thought they were already in the Allies. I was just looking at it. Maybe they left and came back? I don't know. All these naval invasions seem to be failing. We've got some units here. Where are they going? Oh, okay. Looks like they're focusing on South America first, actually. They might try and wrap up this Bolivian and Colombian conflict. There's not quite a land bridge here. Man, trying to push through this Central American jungle would be very, very difficult. There's still a pretty decent resistance here. Some UK forces. It's like we took it and then we moved off. They actually might retake London here if we're not careful. Uh-oh. Gotta watch out for this one. The British might come back. Okay, still fighting in South America here now. And towards Colombia. Oh, there's a push here. Alright, Netherlands are back. Oh, wow, they are really resurging back here. Look at this. Oh, no, we did so well to take it. We can't afford to lose it as London has been retaken. Uh-oh. I thought we had them. The Axis might throw this in the end. Would you believe it? We haven't even made a Axis footholding here on US soil at all. Even though we got like naval invasions set from Iceland. What is that German unit like attempting to do? That'd be ridiculous if they somehow got it off. Okay, looks like they've sort of reduced some of the units here. We actually are pushing into India a bit better over the Tibet border. Oh no, it looks like Wales has been retaken, England as well. We're gonna get they're gonna be back. Look at this. I don't know who that is, join the Allies. Oh wow. I don't believe that. British, along with American forces, have just retaken England. Oh no. What a crazy comeback this could be. Yeah, they're nearly like reinstated. Still 54%. Axis need to switch on here. As Italian troops are fighting in and around Cambridge, but they're going to get surrounded here. Forces have landed in York. But this is crazy. I don't believe this. Oh! Pakistan. Wait, what? Man. They are quite literally fighting us to the bitter end here. We start to pull out and then they come at us again. I'm surprised how well they're doing when we're just pumping them with air supremacy. Like, we are just absolutely trashing British air power. Officers of the service role. Okay. We get 2 flying aces and improved small airframe and mediums. It's probably not a bad idea to get that. Basic heavy chassis finally, 1934 variant. So we were just able to allow really the Germans to have the heavy hitting. We've done well being the manpower supplier in this series. Oh, here we go. We've actually taken Iceland as Italian mountaineers, the Alpine group, rocking up with US equipment, is going to take Reykjavik. I wonder if that will make it easier to start navally invading there, as North America still eludes us. Same with the Pacific here as well. I still can't believe we're battling over Britain after they capitulated. Kind of ridiculous. Redonkulous, if you do say. Yeah, there we go, another one there. Just none of these have been successful. I just don't think we can get naval supremacy or a comfortable way in just yet. How's everyone doing major power wise? National aviation. The Germans have solidified their rule. They're still democratic. I don't know how. Japanese are fine. Same with Brazil. Alright, what can we go with now? That's been complete. Self-propelled guns. Okay. And what are we going research-wise? Special Forces getting the 46 divisions and aluminum production, which is probably not a bad idea because we have been relying on some import requests. Steel's gone down. It's just because we need so much steel, that's why. For these ships. We've been relying a lot of it from the Germans. Alright. Wait, what's this? The Union of Burma? A democratic, free and independent Burma. Oh no! We've been cut off here in East Bengal. Why have they done... How's that happen? That's not good. How are we not at war with them? That's really cut off that supply. We fought for that territory as well. You'd think they're about to get war decked. Delhi still hasn't fallen. And the Allies still maintain a grip in the Indian subcontinent. Iceland has capitulated now. I wonder if now that's happened, more naval invasions will potentially be successful. Stalemate here in South Africa. Stalemate here in South America. Ideally say maybe a stalemate here in England as well. Is Churchill still in charge? He is, but look at this. A huge sway of communism is taking over the British in exile. Okay. That's what I was sort of looking for when looking at major powers. Something like that. FDR still quite strong. Communism has kind of failed in this run. There's like hardly any, I think, if we go diplomacy. Yeah. There's only a tiny amount of actual states. The Afghans, just because of their close proximity. Got a peace conference here now, though. As Pakistan and the US make a white peace. Same with Pakistan. Oh yeah, so wait, why has Pakistan made all these pieces? Did they leave? The Treaty of Karachi. No? Is that a bug? It's been going for so long, I wouldn't be surprised. They kind of just pieced out. Oh, so they're technically not at war. We have, of course, still very much 50 million, man. This actually might go all the way to 1956. As I can't see a successful naval invasion hitting the US. Especially still with this Indian war going on and some of these small theaters in the southern... They're just in the bottom half of the world map. I love how the French alliance here is just chilling. You know, some French aristocrats hanging out in Saudi. What's Hungary doing? I think they wanted to join the Allies, but it kind of bugged. Oh, Delhi might actually fall. Oh, very, very close. As they're trying to build an intel network here. We've got Japanese, Russian, Italian forces looking to move on in. How's the air supremacy going on down here? Oh, we actually haven't really been focusing on it. Most of our attention is up here. As once again, Leicester has been retaken. Don't even know what to say. We actually probably are the faction that's lost the most. To be fair, we actually own a lot, though. Wait, they haven't even lost 1 million. The Russian Dominion, which is controlled by the Japanese. Are you serious? The UK capitulated, still losing casualties. How's the balance of power going now? 66%, so it has changed a bit. Has Delhi fallen? Soon. As Axis forces surround it. Oh, and looks like Japanese shogunate forces of... I don't know why the division left of the Japanese army have taken Delhi. Good. They still haven't hit the factory requirement of being a major power. But once India gets wrapped up, that'd be good. Got some Aussie troops here fighting with the Canadians in the Indian province here. What's this? Oh, a small little bit of reclaimed China between the stands. Interesting. Oh god, they're making another play for London again. I still can't believe that's hilarious. The UK is still fighting for their island as we hit September now, 1945. Our Lend-Lease has slightly changed with the Germans. And we're going to try and get some better quality Italian special forces, increasing our attack, defense, and capability. What else can we go with here? Unite Yugoslavia. I think we just straight up rule Yugoslavia mostly. Alright. We're currently getting our landing craft, so that might help us once we push into the Americas. Still expanding the special forces. Trade looks a bit better. We're nearly about to break 500 factories, which is kind of crazy. But definitely my favorite mod, the Road to 56. It's so good. It's basically a DLC on its own. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. Alright. Our infantry equipment's good. It's because we're probably conquering so many factions. Everything else is fine, I think. I need a tile away from Bombay. What are they even at to capitulating? The Indians / British Raj. They've lost 1.7 million. Far out, that's a heap. That's a whole lot. Once again, no footholding here in the States. They actually might go communist. Would that affect them? No. The Belarusian Christian Democracy. Okay. And the Crimean Tatars are independent. I'm surprised the Axis hasn't gone into that sphere of influence. Oh, it looks like we're about to retake Leicester, though. For the 5th time. They mustn't have too many more attempts here, the British. They are getting helped by the US mostly, though. Once we just, like, our air support is just king in this. Our close air support is just pumping them. Alright. Has Bombay fallen? Not quite. As the United push is going. Little bit of a counterpunch here in Andor. Andor. Okay. Kathmandu is still free. Singapore is still under Allied control. Wait, what? It's under the control of Australia? Australian Malaya? What? Oh, I guess because the British have capitulated, someone had to control it. The Free State of Australia. Under Eric Campbell. G'day. Under the Central Party. Blown away as to why he's not in the Axis. I don't think he knows himself. Reading's been retaken. Oxford might fall again. The amount of small county exchange here is kind of crazy. Alright, Kathmandu might capitulate. Maybe Bombay as well. Why are there Colombian units defending India? Oh, they've moved off slightly. Still haven't finished this special forces requirement. We'll hopefully finish it soon. This is absolutely hectic here. It's just like a full-on battle royale. Both the Axis and the Allies fighting over the UK. I don't know if it's that valuable. Alright, so it looks like the Italians are going to invest into some additional shock infantry. That sounds cool. Some Italian stormtroopers, eh? The German Reich has accepted our request for the garrison. Right, we've got a fair bit of territory. Getting improved mechanized stuff, and we're finally getting better quality excavation. That's probably not a bad idea, because our resources are a little bit funny. Mostly small arms, a lot of jets. We are investing a fair bit in our navy, but I think it's just because it just gets sunk so quick. I don't know if you really see the Italian navy in action. Yeah, we've improved our battleship capacity, but we're nearly out of submarines. Like, completely. We've still lost another 20 destroyers since I last looked. 212 air wings, that's quite a bit. Oh my. Only 20,000 fighters. Italy lasts till December 1945. Okay. Back in England now. Nothing really has changed, back and forth, as we hit January 1st, 1946, in the new year. The Americans and the Brits still hold Wales now, and a little bit of central England. None of these naval invasions have been successful. South America still continues to be a stalemate, as Bolivia is just hanging on. All of these naval invasions have been drawn up, but they haven't amounted to anything as Nepal capitulates. And some of these smaller African countries, like Equatorial Guinea. What is this? This is Ghana, probably. Sierra Leone. Defiant. Oh my god, look at the territory we actually own directly under our control. Crazy. Probably larger than the Roman Empire, and obviously not like historically the territory, but yeah, probably at its historic height. Okay, the Persians are being pushed back here now that we're not even focusing on Italy, except for this small theatre here. We're just throwing everything we've got, and we're going to be able to create a huge land bridge that can stretch all the way from Brittany here in northern France, through the Middle East, all the way to Korea, as the Axis is going to officially dominate all of Eurasia. Iran with Tehran in the middle is what's sort of holding out. They did quite well though. They actually pushed well once the war broke out. But now that we're focusing our air force in there, still don't have control of the Gulf though, which could be better. But still, I think by the time we get another more 10 years of this, I really can only see it going one way. But you never know. The US still might be defiant. They might fight to the absolute bitter end and just never give up. It's been a while since I've played a campaign go to 56. Usually things have been wrapped up by about now, but the Allies are doing quite well. Well, the Axis are doing slightly poorly. Even with Italy doing well. Yeah, it looks like they're about to capitulate soon. Unbelievable scenes as we're about to nearly break 50 million casualties just in this war. Oh no, they're going to retake London again. German forces are holding. Oh no, we've lost air supremacy here. Uh-oh. Rotro. Oh no, this is probably the worst push I've seen. It's because we're focusing on the east so much. The UK might come back. As Tehran's about to capitulate. Because we got a lot of divisions here tied up. We have 2,000 divisions. We're still outnumbering them 2 to 1. Still smashed them on manpower. Oh my god, we've called so much of that. It's because we... Well, the thing is, like... It's like, how the hell does Italy have 30k? Well, we have... the entirety of Africa... Nearly. We took 13 states from that, which is pretty good. And Italy are now like the majority of the Middle East. Yeah, like 2 million, easy. Alright. So, once this battle over the Tibetan plateau subsides, we should be able to focus all of our attention, us being the Axis, as we're starting to move troops through Asia Minor, back to the UK. That's nearly back. And then maybe a hope and a dream of the US. Edinburgh's been retaken. Alright, we still haven't refitted those civilian ships just yet. No attempt into the American theater just yet. Oh, Singapore fell. Any attempts into Australia? Oh, a little bit of a push here, as Manchurian forces land in West Papua to eventually take the entire island. Australia holds the east. Right, yeah, because we took it from the Germans in World War I, didn't we? Alright, that's now being complete. So what are we going to work towards now? Devalue the lira. Is that the Turkish lira? Or lira? I don't know what currency we use. We don't use the euro yet. We're going to try and streamline our production to 2, going in line with the 1945 variant. Trade-wise, looking okay. 21 of the new template. How large are these now? Still quite small. We've been still sitting with this puppet focus on the Ruskies that we've just been leaving. Wonder if we'll eventually use it. Wonder if the German High Command might push us into it. What do they currently control? Most of Spain. Obviously the core German territory. They've had that one. They control Finland now. We had that for a little bit. Southern Greece. A little bit down here as well. Alright, still a little bit of territorial change going on. Okay, so now those divisions that were freed up from the Indian front have now landed. And our brave German and Italian boys are still defending London as we hit March 1946. Oh, wow. Looks like Scotland is about to get retaken as Russian troops try and defend the Scottish Highlands close to the Tile of Inverness and Fort William. Yeah, so like, why does this unit like not go? Insufficient naval supremacy. Yeah, so, and I can't see what's operating here, but I'm assuming it's like the British and American navies. Like, there's a lot of these that are just like not being deployed because we just don't have naval supremacy there. And even when we tried, they're kind of battling it out a bit. Yeah, so the German Navy is actually dealing with... Oh, okay. I always think of the big players. The UK and the US, but it's actually some of these are at... Well, that was a big fight there, actually. But like the German Navy's getting smashed by like little Colombian warships as well. In unison. Yeah, capitulating them wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't know how Bolivia here... Look at this. Fortress Bolivia. Still holding on. Yeah, North America is still very much defended by the US, and South America, it's still their backyard. Alright, the Japanese are now flooding more troops into Papua, so that means Australia is probably going to fall. Oh, okay. The Banda Carita. So he becomes an operative, prevents Germany from completing their focus, assassinate Mussolini. Oh no, we can't allow that to happen. I think he's been quite happy with him, the Germans. Like, can we look at their wait, hang on, where are the Germans? Yeah, they're doing fine. We still have pretty good relations with them. Oh, okay, back over to England now, and once again, still fighting over it. This time we have air supremacy back over. Yeah, I think what happens is just the Navy. It's nearly what was happening here in northern France. They retake a bit just due to their superior Navy. And they just, like, go back and forth. It's like once the Axis and the Italians, we, like, move our attention elsewhere. They gain more of a footholding. Still hoping and dreaming for a push. No pushes come from this side. Just going to zoom out slightly. Because when you're on 6 times speed and you're recording, it does get a little bit laggy still. But we're going to be able to take 26% of conquered territory potentially. Maybe more. Germany's sitting at a 33%. No one's grown strong enough to challenge us yet. Nope, still the United States ready to capitulate. And for us to lose, still a decent amount. Man, this is going to hit 60 mil. Ugh, crazy. I usually don't, like, play campaigns this long. Usually they are sort of wrapped up about now, but thanks to the valiant defense of the British in the UK, the British in the UK, rather said, and the US helping them out, we're going to have to flood more units over. Now, finally got control of the English Channel. Any other naval battles we can see? Oh, here we go. The Italian Navy is actually trying to battle it out. Look at this. With the US Navy and the Colombian. And this is getting crushed. Yeah. This is where our Navy's going. Salvador's trying to help us out, but we're just battling over the Caribbean. Because they know if they land, it's all over Red Rover. They're still doing so decently well, the US. They can just continue to fight so long. Oh, the Japanese have nearly taken all of Papua. And are we trying to make a play? What's this? Oh, they're going over to the Galapagos, right? I don't know if Australia's doing too much. They're probably supplying a lot of raw materials and resources, but if you're pushing down in the Pacific here as the axis, you want to be focused. It's really just grabbing all these resources here. Australia is just like, oh yeah, it's an afterthought. You're already down there, you might as well take it. Then once you take Australia, you're like, oh, we're down here, we might as well take New Zealand. Alright, Wrexham is about to fall to Italian troops. Advanced medium tank chassis. That looks cool. That looks pretty slick. Where are you, Ryan Reynolds? And Rob what's his name? McElhenney? Right, so hopefully this will allow our leadership to be solidified. Advanced landing craft, that might help us potentially get into the States. We're still importing 256 steel from the Reich. Still our major trading partner. Right, quick recheck. Wow, 575 Italian divisions. Just shy of 5,000 battalions. Air Force wise, 232 air wings. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Now, if we can finally get to a point where there's no pockets of any resistance in the UK, we might be able to successfully navally invade the US. Oh my god, why is there so many divisions tied up here? Potentially we're going to be able to crush 50 allied divisions. 10 for Chinese, 26 American. Oh my god, there's some AMRAAMs there, Abrams tanks. Oh my god, we got a lot of units tied up here as well, to be fair. And then I think that's, yeah, the last in India and Asia. Okay, holding in Liverpool now. Grimsby's been retaken. And Papua's about to fall. The US are trying to ferry over some forces. I haven't really been keeping a look. It's kind of a little bit hard to see. Okay, so the Japanese are trying to take these small US territories in Micronesia. Oh, they're actually trying to navally invade New Zealand, which is interesting. What's this? Fiji they've taken. They actually might be able to do it as well, the Japanese. There we go. Are they landed? They're moving about there. Yeah, look at this. Like, the US Navy ain't here, so it's like... there's probably a higher chance that Japanese forces are going to land here. They're moving about. Oh, that's the fleet. I thought they were being launched. Are they not moving in a southward direction? Yeah, no, they are. They have been launched. Oh, here we go. The Japanese might land in Christchurch, would you believe? I wonder if they're going to be successful. I'm also curious, to be honest. Interesting strategic decision. It actually might be logistically easier for them to do that. Are they landing? Yeah, here we go. 3 forces of the Japanese Navy are landing in Christchurch, and they've been thrown back by the Kiwis here in Christchurch. Would you believe it? I haven't been watching this closely, but I don't think there's been any of them that successful here in the States. Oh, no, here we go. We've got a successful landing here. They opted to go further south as Japanese forces have landed in the southern island of New Zealand. The 134th Infantry of the Japanese Army and the 214th. Australia's yet to be reconquered, probably because they're retaking East Papua, pushing on to west. I still don't know how we haven't crushed them here, though. Okay, still a fair way from 60. Alright, Liverpool's been retaken in that British position here. What an absurd war. Oh, okay. Okay, so Italy might be going down their Roman faction. Uh-oh. Well, I guess we kind of own a fair bit of, like, what was the old Roman Empire. Mare Nostrum. Can created their own faction. I wonder if they're going to do it. Oh, no. We're about to nearly win. If we can just take the US. Italy throws a massive spanner in the works. Wants to relive the Roman Empire. They might do it, you know. They might actually betray the Germans. Because this war has been going on for so long. I don't know if I'd blame the German High Command doing this. I think just the US and the UK are just holding on. More than anything. I don't know if it's the Germans why this war is going on so much longer. And they're like throwing. 66% now. Starting to win slightly more bubbles here in South America. So what's stopping us here? Costa Rica. Yeah, you probably would make the way up there. All the way to Mexico, maybe. Newcastle's been retaken again. Just can't get rid of them. Wait, what was this? The Republic of Bengal joined the Allies. Where did they come from? Okay. Alright, 1947 now, January. So, we're going to expand our protection into the Balkans. Still yet to land in the US, the Axis. And we have chipped away slightly at this English/Scottish position. Mostly on the English border. The Scots are now there. And this is absolutely crazy down here. It's turning into a bit of a South American nightmare, you could say. Just because of the amount of logistic struggles. Unfortunately, those Japanese forces that landed in the southern island have been thrown back. The entirety of Papua is now under Axis control. Australia, South Africa, Canada, firmly part of the Allies out of the Commonwealth now. Yeah, so you can even just see by the sea lanes on the entirety of the east coast of the states. Like, look at all these countless naval invasions are set up. They're just not going to be initiated, as the Axis can't gain naval supremacy with the British Navy fleeing to the Americas. Going into April now, 1947, we've pushed the last little bit of British resistance back to Scotland, Glasgow, and Edinburgh under the control of British forces. Back down in South Africa. South Africa, we're doing a nice push in former Boer country. And it looks like some naval invasions are being deployed here in the Northern Territory of Australia, which is interesting. Not focusing on the east coasts, where most of the supply, logistics, and men are. Alright, looks like my home country will be more than likely sooner rather than later taken under Axis control. Mussolini currently trying to invest into better quality naval equipment. May 1947. Befriend Portugal. That might not be a bad idea, as Portugal does have a decent amount of overseas territory, and to be fair, colonies as well. Making a nice little push here with Japanese Russia, and I think we're about to do a massive encirclement here, as Glasgow has been recaptured. Got to give it to the British. They are fighting to the absolute bitter end for their home island. Edinburgh's been taken, and now the entirety of the UK is firmly back under Axis control and Italian regional administration. But everywhere else, still very much a stalemate. Yeah, so we hold most of the oceans between Africa and South America. It's just North America's not really worked out too well. Oh, here we go. We've got a Japanese Axis invasion, along with some Italian forces landing in Auckland. That could be huge. Man, I wonder if New Zealand is going to fall before New Zealand. Wait, sorry. New Zealand is going to fall before Australia. Misspoke. Maybe Australia has slightly more naval supremacy or naval capacity than the Kiwis would. Yeah, So just looking at these, some of them are activated, but it's mostly due to not enough naval supremacy. Or even when the ships move there, they simply get contested out of the waters. Germany currently holds Greenland. We currently control Iceland. And our eastern allies there look like they're trying to make a play into Alaska, but I don't know if it's going to go off. Yeah, look at this. So in the East Timor Sea, the Bass Sea, the Tasman, in and around the Straits of Australia, the naval invasions have been attempted and are more successful. Just due to that naval supremacy. So, have we... Oh! No, they haven't come in. Oh, I thought they did for a second there. Oh, I was like, oh, that was nearly a coup and a half. Bringing in Portugal. Because they have... Well, they held East Timor for a bit. A southern island south of Indonesia. They also have some African territory around about this time as well. But once again, yeah, no naval invasions have been successful on the eastern seaboard whatsoever. If anything, a lot of the forces are getting tied up in South America. But it's interesting that there's like small pockets of allied resistance around the place. Iberian protection. Okay. We attempted to try and get Portugal in. Maybe going this time around might work. Because I still would like to bring in those African allies that are under Portuguese government control. And maybe even in the east as well. Okay, that's been fully deciphered down in South Africa. And the US are still trying to not allow South Africa and Pretoria to fall. I suppose it acts as a bit of a line of defense. Bogging down. Like, if they can bog down Axis forces in Oceania, Australia / New Zealand. Oh, hang on. Oh, so this actually pulled off there. Oh, and... Oh, wow. Italy left the Axis and have formed Imperium Romanum. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Uh-oh. Okay, that could have been bad. Because Switzerland, they declared war upon Switzerland, and they're going to fall quite quickly, because they're going to be pincered by all sides. Oh, wow. So, I guess, now that the war has gone on so much, probably longer than what you'd expect, just because of the defiance and absolute chad of what the US Navy is. We can't wrap up this war against the Allies, because they are the last belligerent. So I guess there's been a disagreement with the Italian High Command and the Germans. The Italians wanting more regional autonomy. Ah, so that was the plan to bring in Portugal. Interesting. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't break out into a war. But it does seem like Italy is signing a bunch of non-aggression pacts. Oh no. Will Italy throw this game? Oh, we can't move into the US. Maybe going against the Reich and its allies will be the play. Oh, that would be crazy. Getting close to nearly 50 million worth of casualties now. Probably going to have to renegotiate all these trade pacts and licenses and negotiations now that we're separate factions. As Switzerland now is about to be gobbled up and annexed, and the Swiss Confederation is no more. We've taken the south where they've taken the north. So we do have, like, still a lot of territory. Liechtenstein has a white piece. Oh, wow. The Italians are drawing up borders. So maybe we will be able to build the Roman Empire after all. Interesting. Balloon to 10 million now. 11 for the Germans. Man. I'm curious to see what the eliminations and casualty loss rate is going to be by the time we get to 1956, if it lasts that long. So India, the UK, some of the East, most of the Mediterranean and Europe is a part of Imperium Romanum, as we're trying to reclaim some of the lost Roman territory. We still have non-aggression pacts and relatively good relations with our Axis brethren. But Italy is now a free and independent country and faction that will not bend to the will of the Reich. Nice. I respect that. So, still fighting in the same old pockets. The UK hasn't come back with their partisans or resistance. The Colombian, I think it's more Venezuelan, Peruvian border still fighting out. Yeah, so Portugal, a couple of African nations, and those small states within what was formerly Yugoslavia has joined our side near the Albanian border. All roads lead to Rome. Oh no, what's this? Gains a war goal against the Japanese-Russian Dominion. That could be an issue. And Monaco. 40 million Axis losses. War support is slightly going down as well. Stability is fine for now. I don't know if the Italians would win in an all-out war with the Germans. It's going to be a tough one. Man, if I knew how much of a vital hold that would have need to be in Mexico, like if we could have really held that territory, it would have been so much easier getting into the States. Because now we're basically chalked off from pushing from that Mexican border. Honestly, I didn't think there'd be that much of an issue, but the US Navy is still, and in combination with remnants that fled from the British and the French, still accompany them. But yeah. Allied navies are always super annoying in Hearts of Iron 4. Even in the Road to 56 mod. Yeah, so they're surprisingly democratic. Which is interesting. Even though the peaceful Japanese shogunate are authoritarian. January now, 1948. And I'm curious to see where this leads. So, a war has broken out. And, okay, thankfully Monaco didn't join the Axis. That could have been an issue. So technically, although we're at war with the small micro-state of Monaco, we are now actually at war with the Saudis as well, but they've just capitulated after that. Wait, what? Oh, that was super quick. Why do we nearly have the entirety of the Arabian Peninsula? Alright, that worked out alright, I guess. We're going to be able to hit those small allied territory in Oman. I guess it's like Abu Dhabi. The UAE. Muscat. I guess they were trying to hold on. To that last little bit of US control in the Middle East. It's still just the US that needs to capitulate. South American alliances. Oh, we're going to try and turn them. Hey, I didn't even notice that. The entirety of New Zealand is under Japanese control. And we've landed in Darwin. G'day. The Italian invasion of Australia. Okay. Oh, wow. This is a huge change of events here, actually. The free people of Havana, Cuba, have made the decision in February 1948 to join the Axis. I'm sure nothing bad will come from that. I'm sure the Reich will want to put ICBMs on the island. Oh, okay. I wonder if that's a plan for them to navally invade in, or will the US Navy still hold them back? That's bad. They're right off the Florida border there. Might be able to drop right on in to the Florida Keys. As unfortunately our Italian forces have been thrown back, losing the city of Darwin in Australia. Okay, so I wonder if any of these countries actually join in. Chile and whatever other South American alliances are available. Yeah, it's only Chile that's independent. Nice. Did they join properly? No, they didn't seem to, for whatever reason. March now, 1948. Taking Cuba hasn't really done much. We've managed to retake Darwin here, which is pretty good. But it's mostly Italian forces battling it out with the Aussies in the Northern Territory. It's going to be a little bit hard because there's absolutely nothing up there nowadays. Or these days. You can't even like push through the desert there either. In Road to 56 it's actually blocked off. Which is kind of smart. Even if you take Darwin, you're going to have to pick an east or a west coast to go down. So it looks like we're going to have the Italian invasion of Australia coming up soon. Supremacy in the skies. Okay, so quite a fewer amount of naval invasions have gone on in the US. We're focusing on finishing off the Free State of Australia now, which I'm surprised they're actually a part of the Allies still. Oh, we've got Italian forces landing just south of Perth, sort of in that Fremantle region. Italian and Russian forces land in Australia, and the Japanese are trying to help us out in Queensland on that east coast region as well. And the war goal is done. A puppet annexation against the Russian Dominion, which is controlled by the Japanese. Interesting how things are going to end up. Well, unfortunately on that note, guys, I've got to wrap things up here today with Harry S. Truman becoming President of the United States, moving into 1948. FDR's got the boot. Oh, wow. Always served too many terms, potentially. But anyway, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for more content like this. If you want to see more from me, check out the videos on screen. Thank you so much for watching. My name has been Simpsy, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers. Hey everyone, my name is Simpsy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Hearts of Iron 4 Road to 56 mod here today on the channel. We're back with episode 10 of my Italian campaign. It is 1948, and we're trying to run down and finish off the last of the Allied forces here. We're going to be continuing this save, and we're going to be doing so with the invasion of Australia, my home country. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like and subscribe if you're new. I really much appreciate it. So, unfortunately, we've currently lost our position down in Perth. We managed to take Darwin and most of the Northern Territory. And now we're going to try and push from the west to the east coast. The Japanese are helping us out as well. So, We're still at war with the Allies technically because the US hasn't fallen, yet no Axis or Imperium Romanum troops have landed anywhere on the contiguous United States. The US Navy is just absolutely crushing any attempt from the east or west coast. So unless we can somehow find a breakthrough, it looks like it might turn into a stalemate this save, unless the Axis somehow can find a way in. But they are really holding out well. Yeah, just like none of these naval invasions have been successful. I think it's mostly due to not just the strength of the US Navy, but also the fact of the British and the French probably fleeing and uniting together. So we're currently focusing on Australia here, and hopefully we can capitulate them and bring them under Axis or Imperium control. Now, up until the last episode, the majority of this series, we've been actually a part of the Axis forces. But as this war has gone on so much longer, we've decided to cede from Germany and their faction, the Axis, and form our own, Imperium Romanum, with Portugal and some very other Balkan countries as well. We push on to 1947, a year into this conflict into Australia. Nothing's really changed overly too much. New Zealand capitulated ages ago. But the casualty rate for this save is absolutely bonkers. It's ridiculous. There's some still small pockets of Allied resistance up in the Tibetan Plateau. It's been an absolute bloody conflict down in South Africa. The borders have changed quite a bit. And we still have this war goal potentially against the Russian Dominion controlled by the Japanese Parliament. Winston Churchill has taken the entirety of Mexico and now leads the United Kingdom's affairs from Guadalajara. You know, that famous British town. It's interesting that, Mexico decided to side with the Axis powers in this one, and the US was like, yeah, alright, we'll just give all that to the UK. That sounds about right. But still no breakthrough into North America still. Tech-wise, obviously in the early game, we were focusing on manpower and infantry. That's changed a little bit now as we're pushing into nearly the 50s as the war still continues. WW2, that is. And we are getting better quality tanks as well. It's nearly going to get to the point where we're going to need some nuclear reactors. And I'm quite surprised that none of the major powers just yet have dropped any nuclear weapons. Whether it be Fat Man or Little Man, or whatever they're called. Ships wise, we've focused on mostly battleships and larger tankers now rather than subs, which I usually prefer to have a lot of, but we lost about 100 of those earlier in the save. Currently sitting at about 35 million manpower as well. We still have naval supremacy in and around the UK and the Med. We are getting a little bit more control in the Atlantic, but it's really around those regional coastal Caribbean and coastal US positions where it's really going to matter. Alright, skipping a little bit ahead now. 1950. Rail innovations are coming in. And yeah, the US now not under FDR, under Truman. They're still holding on. And they've actually changed the name of the Allies, which is probably a little bit fitting, I guess. NATO. Oh, I don't know about that. The North Atlantic Treaty. Well, I guess Mexico, and I guess it's more North Atlantic. They're still really trying to hold on to South Africa. I guess that's delaying any push onto the mainland. Here are some of the African countries and Portuguese. So we've got Italian Nigeria, Italian Kenya. That's kind of cool, I guess. Italy, the Arabian Peninsula still under their control. Still those NATO forces now in the Tibetan Plateau. And look at this. We've got a small piece of the Philippines and Australia joining NATO. You know, Australia in the North Atlantic sphere of influence. Because that makes sense. It's funny just seeing NATO there. We're currently in AUKUS now. That's the rave thing in the news. Oh, so the Italians might be able to get the atomic research done in 74 days. I don't even know what NATO equipment we use. We have our own production capacity here, wise. Rifles with the AUGs. I don't reckon we use NATO rounds. I could be wrong. Alright, going for the 1950s Italian tank. It's more than likely going to be a shocking piece of machinery. It will look cool. Very stylish, like a lot of Italian cars and vehicles. But they're going to absolutely break down constantly. And we'll need a serious amount of work tinkering on it. Portuguese Angola is giving us some trade. Yeah, so we're the major power now in Africa and not the Axis. Alright, 1951. Yeah, if it hasn't happened within like 5 years, even with Cuba becoming under Axis control, I don't know if the US is going to fall. They're just too strong. Still projecting their power from North America. Looks like they've really thrown back the South American forces, though. Maybe that's because they're focusing potentially on South Africa. Alright, Western Australia is now fully under our control. And even most of northern Italy. I'm surprised the Central Party here being fascist in Australia didn't actually join the Axis or leave the Commonwealth early. They are fighting for Queen and Country. Well, King and Country now, yeah. Guess it was Queen and Country back then. It is weird that we are currently ruled by a king in Westminster. I'm a subject of the realm. I think we should be a republic. I think I made that position quite clear. Fair few times on YouTube, actually. What do you guys reckon? Should Australia be a republic? Or stay with the Commonwealth? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so Germany's lost 15 mil. How have the Japanese lost 10, I guess? Wow, the Russian Dominions lost 11 million. That's quite a lot. And where is everyone else sort of looking? There's these like small little German territories which I don't understand. The Reichsmarschall. I guess there's like small factions of maybe German commanders and generals wanting their own countries. To some extent. Yeah, because like some of them are in Poland and stuff. Or maybe they're ruling stuff that's not necessarily countries, but stuff that's slightly more sinister, maybe. Oh, they actually retook that. Still more naval invasions there, though. Oh, look at this. Australia might end up falling then. They actually held on for quite a bit. So what's that left? New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia and Tasmania left. As we're pushing into Sydney now. We have air supremacy over the east coast. I love how the only other Axis power is helping us out is the Russians. We cannot allow Free State of Australia. Yes. Okay. you see that rocket artillery that the Italians are deploying now as well? I was hearing this whistling of phew, phew, phew. I was like, oh, I haven't heard that before. Those things are absolutely... Hey, look at that. Smashing through the Aussie infantry. Yeah. Like an early HIMAR. An early high mobility, like... rocket artillery on the back of some truck. Alright. Now, I'm curious to see... Oh, we've actually got a lot of battleships now. I'm curious to see what happens in Australia here now. So who sort of gets it? Will it be divided mostly between the Italians and Germans, or what's going to happen? Yeah, because look at this. For some reason, they're not in a state anymore. They're not in the Allies and they're not in NATO. I guess they got kicked out because of their political ideology. Oh, so maybe we're going to be able to just full-on annex it, as Adelaide now is under pressure. The Italians have conquered and stuck a big old flag on Uluru. There's rock. What would the Italians call it? Mount Vesuvius 2. I don't know. Our war support is slightly going down. You think once the... Wait, what? I didn't even know that was a bloody place down here. I didn't know that was an island. How are we navally invading from there? Yeah, once mainland Australia capitulates, you'd imagine Tasmania will follow suit. Unless my fellow Taswegians are going to become full-on partisans or separatists. It should be quite easy to conquer them. Alright. New South Wales has fallen. Like Wales in Britain beforehand. And we finally have the blueprints and the schematics for nuclear bombs. Nice. We've got reactors, but we need to be able to construct them. So what else is there? Power, thermonuclear. Okay. Will it be the Italians to drop the first bomb? Okay, so that gives us naval nuclear capacity. Interesting. So we've got reactors being built in Lazio on the peninsular mainland. Okay. Yeah, Australia's about to capitulate. Lost 1 million in the end. They did well. Melbourne is still under Australian control. And it's only going to be a matter of time. Took a fair few years. This was nearly a 2 to 3 year campaign. Pushing into God's country. The land of the Southern Cross. There's a naval invasion going through Melbourne. Going straight up through Docklands. Yeah, right. Adelaide is still holding out. Those snobs in Sydney and Canberra capitulated early. The city of churches and Melburnians holding on. How have they not capitulated yet? Oh, yep. I think Tassie's fallen. No, it's the same green. Nah. There's still a naval invasion to go there, though. It's kind of cool, this Australian offensive. Seems like the Axis powers sort of left it off a bit. But this is really the first time we've seen in this series Italian forces use rocket launchers, like high mobility, yeah, like HIMARS essentially, yeah. Oh, okay, things are not looking good in the South African front, as they're taking more territory back in sort of former Boer and Rhodesian territory. Oh, what's this? Oh, no. February 1954, has Mussolini died? No, but there has been a motion of no confidence, and the Grand Council of Fascism has come in. Our war support has rocketed to 17%. Yeah, I suppose this has been a decades-long war. We were a part of the Axis powers. We did ask for more autonomy from the Germans, and we thought ruling our Mediterranean and colonial realm in our right was the play. But I believe... Well, I don't know when he actually died, though, historically. It might have been around this date. I actually can't remember. Potentially. Okay, wow. So, a council is now in charge of the Italian sphere of influence, which stretches from Iceland to Australia. That's not going to end in tears, is it? Oh, no. So, yeah, he's still in charge. Just having a look. So, there hasn't been, like, any major changes. Maybe once you sort of... Because we're technically going into sort of the early 50s. Early sort of Cold War stuff. But Truman is now the president. We had FDR. Winston is still hanging about, controlling the United Kingdom of Mexico outright. And, of course, the big baddie still controls Germany. Okay. Oh, there might be a full-on civil war if it goes any further. The stability is quite low. Same with political power as well. Uh-oh, that would be huge if there is going to be an Italian civil war. Oh, wow. Italy about to throw this campaign after all this. What other stuff can they potentially go down? Yeah, it's just like, what's happened is the US has just turned this into a stalemate now. It's going to be pretty much impossible to bring them down. Like, they've lost millions trying to do so. $65 million for the Axis powers. Nearly double. Well over 100 million now. Although they've taken significant casualties, they have won in the territorial realm. They've taken New Zealand. We have Australia. We still have that puppet goal against the Ruski, so we could declare war upon them. And we still have those battle plans drawn. Okay, skipping a little bit ahead now. And January 1953. Things look a lot worse for Italy, as it's still hovering around about 11%. The old faction leader is now nowhere in sight. And the Grand Council of Italian fascists is probably going to drive this colonial imperial power back to the Stone Age. Cuba's still under Axis control. But as always, I've been saying it countlessly, the US has not been navally invaded on the contiguous United States at all. And surprisingly, I'd say the majority of South America has capitulated to the Axis. Australia and New Zealand to us, but South Africa, not necessarily sure why, but they're still holding. We have nuclear power plants along with 4 devices on the Italian mainland. We're still absolutely stacked on our core territory, so if a war does break out between the Germans and the Italians, we are poised in a position to at least counterpunch them. This is turning into sort of a... Wait, Italian East Africa? Oh, right, we gave it to one of the princes. Ah, that's what that did. There was actually another one here that I saw. Yeah, check this out. The House of Bourbon currently rules Peru, which is kind of weird to see. Yeah. So I guess this in this alternative timeline, with the Japanese going shogunate and peaceful, in like a sort of man in the high castle style, Italy was the dominant power. I do find it interesting that even in the book, and in the show to some extent, they just completely forget the Italians and what they contributed to the war, or what maybe they didn't in that alternative timeline. There's a fair few others, but it was a book written in like the 50s and 60s or whatever. I think people are a little bit harsh on that, but I still think it's kind of cool. The alternative timeline stuff. I enjoy that show for what it was. Some people get pretty upset about it. I don't know. I kind of like it as a bit of a period piece, just like the weird stuff of everyday life in the Third Reich. It's just weird. Kind of like Mad Men. Yeah, like there's the... Yeah, yeah, if that's in that Krakow Polish region, I reckon that state within Germany is a bit more sinister than probably what it lets out to be. Because why else would the Germans give up so much territory in a state? But anyway, the Civil War's now broken back as... Wait, what? Oh, okay. So how's this working out? Oh, no. So Sicily and southern Italy have seceded. Mussolini is back, baby, with the Socialist Republic. Okay, so it's only the core territory. And then the Italian National Assembly. Oh, no. So April 1953. This is a huge battle here. I think half of the army has fallen. And both sides are trading rocket artillery fire. That's crazy. As the Italian Civil War now breaks out. That's 70% of capitulation. I wonder what will happen if they potentially win. I don't think they're going to join NATO. Oh no, they've actually just crushed all our units there in Sicily. That's not good. And we're currently trying to hold them on the Naples Mount Vesuvius front. And we are below 50% towards capitulation. Oh no. After decades of this campaign we've been playing, Italy might throw in the end. We do have air supremacy up over the top, which is fantastic. We're slowly moving forces down from that northern Alpine border. But they currently control the boot of Italy, which isn't good. In an eerily similar historical flip-flop that the Italians did in real life, of course. Changing sides. With the South joining the Allies. And the North remaining true to the Axis. There was even all these small little communist pockets and uprisings running about the place as well. So they tried to overthrow Mussolini. That's fascinating to see. They might even be successful in the end. So they gone like Pax Romana or something. Is that what they've ended up doing? The Russians are coming over here to defend Italy, which is interesting. I don't think the Axis powers are in on this, so it's basically just us. 350k lost. We are holding them. We're trying to stem the surge. But there are so many units condensely packed there. We have air supremacy over the top. Not so much navy. Oh, maybe we lost a huge chunk of the Italian navy. Great. It was already subpar to the last of the Allied navy, and particularly the US. Even less of a fighting force. A little bit back and forth here at the moment. Oh, they're actually getting help from the UK. That's not surprising. But maybe even Japan as well. What? Why would they be helping them? No, they're not in a faction. Okay. So it's really just that South African border. We actually lost 10 million manpower as well. No, closer to 5. More so than 10. The Portuguese and the Italian navy are battling it out. We are helping them Air Force wise. Yeah, we lost 10 battleships there. Oh, that's kind of huge. Our stability shot back up. Now bringing back Mr. Musa. Our war support's still down. Typical Italy. Throwing the campaign late. It's just the US still being defiant. Not wrapping up with that war with the Allies sooner. Probably cost us here. As now this new phase of the war is a bit of a stalemate. Realistically, it probably would have ended. But you can't really do solid peace deals unless you're on the losing side in Hoi. Like, realistically, this war wouldn't have gone on for another 10 years if the Axis powers couldn't get in. My god, that is such a bright, vibrant, and quite frankly, sickly green for some reason. I don't know why. Neon lights, that's what it looks like. What's all this? Did they all secede? No, okay. Oh, if they somehow break away, right. So if a Kurdish state, a Paraguay state, potentially. Another one down in Malaya. Oh, they're going to join. Wait, they're going to pop up, though? No, they haven't. Why does the Russian Dominion occupy Iraq? That's a strange sight. Okay. Oh, now they're at war with the Axis. And have they formed their own faction in doing so? I think they have. Yeah, no, yep, no, Germany is helping us out now. I guess they wouldn't allow a civil war to happen so close to their border. From a major power, I guess. We'd probably do the same. Alright. The small little pockets of fighting and battles have now subsided. As both the Italian sides take to the skies. And battle for aerial and regional supremacy. 7 minutes. We came so close to capitulating there. We sort of stemmed that push. But now in 1953, the first Italian Civil War has erupted. To be fair, we've been quite stable through the majority of this campaign. The Soviets, the USSR had theirs. The French. Yeah, the UK, States and Germany have been solid in this series. And they haven't changed, like, they didn't really flip as well. We are playing with, obviously, unhistorical focuses, so anything can happen. Italy, doing well for one. Up until now. Yeah, so they formed the Rome Protocols. Interesting. Because I guess, well, the thing is, communism never really took root in this save. With the USSR falling. There was a bit of a pop-up in Mexico, but that was about it. The world was divided by the Democratic Allies, the Axis, fascist / other, that being us and Free France as well, which we still had to war with, even with both us and the Germans having similar political ideologies. Yeah, so it's full on just like a stalemate there in South America. And we've actually been pushed back further. Maybe because we don't own that territory in full. Got some naval invasions being prepared. I don't know how effective they're going to be. We got rail guns moving. Along with rocket artillery. Shows just like an absolute cluster. A cluster clock in the skies around southern Italy. We've got so many divisions there. Because we're such in the late game. It's kind of absurd. Are we going to be able to break through that Italian bloc? They're firmly controlled Sicily, which is annoying. Because now they can use that island as essentially a floating aircraft carrier to project power in and around the Mediterranean. And then southern Italy, they're just really holding as well, along with the cross at Messana there. Could have been worse. Well, maybe not actually. This is probably the worst place they could have started this. Northern Italy and the Alps would have been hard to push from the north, but the Germans would have been able to help us out. This is just all our own, as we're currently fighting over 3 tiles in Italy. Yeah, no, I take that back. This is pretty bad. I don't know, we're getting out of this. Okay, January 1954. Nothing really has changed. Skipping a little bit ahead. There's been a little bit of progression back and forth, but overall, this is turning into another one of those forever wars, which major powers seem to like. Getting to the stage where most of the tech tree is now complete. And only 2 years away before 56. Before we hit the mod's name. It's been a while. But yeah, overall, Axis not doing too much, helping us out here. US still hanging about with the Allies. Well, technically NATO now. Need to remember that. And we're still dealing with this Italian civil war. Probably about 50% towards capitulation. A lot higher than what the 40 got to. But January now, 1954. Moose is still in charge. I kind of wish, like in Road to 56, you could have multiple leaders from the similar party. Like, I feel like in Millennium Dawn, they just have so many more. And such a huge variety of faction leaders. Small maintenance here and a couple of others we haven't gone through. Some trucks and stuff. Just watch over that cipher. I don't know what's going on. Why is that bugging? Why is that popping up constantly? That research slot. More annoying than anything. Alright, we've taken 2 tiles on the left and right here. As we might be able to have our first little offensive as we hit February 1954. If we can take Naples, that'd be huge. Still nothing going on in the US. Oh, Cuba's about to fall to NATO forces, though. Something to keep an eye on. They weren't able to use that as a naval invasion leapfrog, which is a shame. I thought they might have been potentially able to do it. Might be able to take another tile here, as the Italians are on the back foot. Still an even split between communism, fascism, and democracy in Campania. Okay, we've taken 3 tiles here. As we're just pounding them with relentless train railgun and artillery. Might have weakened them down now. We're going to be able to outproduce them. We've got that on our side, and of course, geography is destiny. Being landlocked at the bottom of this boot here is not good for them. Look at the US. They are literally where they are now and how successful they are with their geography in this campaign. So far away, so isolated, and with the bounty of the US behind them. The Axis and the Italians can't go in. We might be able to take Naples here. February 1954. Still no push in the south because we've just lost our navy. Or half of it. That's why it's so back and forth. Man, oh man. Like 2, 3, 4 tiles within a year. Crazy scenes on this border there, but we are slowly but surely chipping away at the Italian separatists. King of the skies, eh? Help our bomber capacity. Hey, Naples has fallen. May 1954. Will we be able to recapture and capitulate them before 1956? Maybe. Air Force is doing alright. Still just shy of under 1,000 divisions. Which you'd think you'd have by now. Well, maybe we would have had more if we didn't lose them. Swung back up to 60, so we're not going to capitulate. It's just how much we're going to lose taking this. If we've got India, Africa, the UK, and Mediterranean on our side, you'd think we'd have more divisions. It does reflect in our manpower, that. 20 is still a fair bit. So June 1954. The world theatre is pretty much the same. Except for the Italian one. I still can't believe there's that NATO resistance there. Hanging up in the north. Some sort of... I don't know. What were those people called? The Shadow Legion. Hanging out in Nanda Parbat or whatever it is. The Batman people. The ninjas in the north. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Alright guys, well, unfortunately we've encountered a game crashing save now for whatever reason. Unfortunately we're not going to be able to get it to 56 this save. I'm actually surprised it lasted this long, but for whatever reason, once we tick over the next couple of days and weeks, the game just crashes and there's not much I can do about it. I think it's because there's so many units closely densed into Italy, because we had a civil war so late. There's like 400, there's probably like 800 or so divisions in the Italian peninsula. But we're probably going to have to wrap things up anyway soon, because we're getting to 56 as the world ends with the Axis and Imperium Romanum factions dominating the majority of the world's continents. Yet the US and NATO and the UK and Canada live out in peace, defending North America. Kind of a cool run. There were some crazy events, and I hope you've enjoyed this series. Looking at the stats real quick, we finished in 2nd, Germany 1st, the Japanese Shogunate 3rd, the US in 4th, the Russian Dominion in 5th, Sweden, Hungary up there as well, and the Axis slightly being on top over Imperium Romanum, the Rome Protocols. I would have liked to see how that civil war between the Italian states would have ended up. We probably did have more power than the Axis at one point, or what's left of the Axis, but score-wise, 6,000, not too shabby, if I do say so myself. But anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay tuned for more content on the channel. Let me know what you would like me to replace this series with. Hearts of Iron 4, Road to 56 mod, primarily. Maybe we can play more Millennium Dawn, or potentially I don't know, a Star Wars mod or something. That'd be cool. That's good on Hoy. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to see more from me, check out the videos on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.